Broadcasting live from a land we've been to before, but it's anime this time. This is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome everybody to Tap Tap Concede. My name is Graham. Joining me is Cameron. And Wheeler.
Thank you for having me, Graham. It's great to be here.
It's a pleasure as always. Reminder before we get started that this show is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Please check out cardkingdom.com/LRR for all of your cardboard Magic the Gathering needs. They got good prices and excellent customer service and very, very, very fast shipping. Comically fast shipping. And if you tell them Loading Ready Run sent me button, please, they'll give you a little 1-inch button, which I believe still says a constitutional monarchy of cards. But more designs are forthcoming. And of course, this show and everything we do is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. And we thank you very much for it. So we've had some weeks now of, we did like the nicknames episode. We talked about Unfinity names and flavor text. We had our PPR guests in for the Unfinity PPR. So it's been a while since we've just caught up about what's going on in the Magic the Gathering news. So that's what this is going to be. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of the Magic the Gathering news. And we're going to start with everything that they announced at their, during the Magic 30 stream. Because there was actually several things they talked about. You would be forgiven for forgetting. There were several things they talked about, many of which I thought looked really neat and fun. And then one thing that we'll also talk about. So the first thing was that they talked about the promos, the sort of the 30 years of promos, and we'd seen the first 5 or 6 of these, I think, maybe. Three?
We had seen 3.
We'd seen like Sarah Angel, and then like a
Ball Lightning
and a German Findhorn Elves. Yeah, Findhorn Elfen. And then
beautiful language.
Right, Wall of Roots. But now, Wood Elves for 1997, Windfall for 1998.
Loyal Retainers.
Oh, 99.
Yep.
Core Haven 2000. Let's just go through them all. Why not?
Yeah.
Vindicate.
Oh, okay. What language is this?
Italian.
Vindicated.
Very nice.
I think.
Sorry, both of you need to get the mics way closer to you.
Oh yeah. So this is the reason. This is super cool to me. The Vindicate one, because it's the old gold. I love the old gold border, but this is the Avacyn restored Vindicate art. Like this is recent art, but the old border, which I really like. Exalted Angel. Oh dang. Okay. Cool. Very nice. Temple of the False God for 2003. Eternal Witness. What is that art?
Scott M. Fisher.
Eternal Witness.
Baby, Scott M. Fisher
So
art.
good.
I've not seen that one before. All right, cool. That's 2004. Court of Calling in
Old Border.
Old Border in
Portuguese
or Spanish? Accord de Chamado?
Apologies to my family.
2005. Oh, Big Niv.
Yeah, Big Niv.
For 2006.
With the original flavor text. the one that everyone feels very clever for being like, it's math. You read it. And I'm like, this is not math.
The nerdiest flavor text. Tarmogoyf, of course, in the Future Sight border in Japanese for 2007. That's very good. Glenelendra Archmage, 2008. Oh, good old acidic slime.
Yep.
Nice. Everyone loves a good acidic slime. Nasty Terasti.
Big Nasty.
2010. Gosh, there's still 12 years.
Hornet Queen.
Thank you. In French, I guess.
Harvester of Souls. When I think 2012 Magic cards, I think Harvester of Souls.
A lot of
It
these
was a real dearth of, just like no good Magic cards had come out in that block.
No.
Yeah.
Avacyn Restored, famously underpowered set in an underpowered block.
Yeah.
In a time where Magic was just really fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about the time that I went to a draft at YJ and y'all had ran out of Resto Angels to give us a promo, so I very graciously just took an extra pack of Avacyn Restored?
Did you open a Resto Angel?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Colonian Hydra.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Okay.
Rabblemaster.
Rabblemaster.
Fun card.
That's a
It's
sick
good card.
promo.
Yeah.
That's a spicy one. Dragonlord Atarka. All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I can see some commander shenanigans with that one. And then suddenly a dramatic reversal. Interesting choice.
Yeah, I would have assumed that the if you're going to get something from Kaladesh, the old border treatment, I would assume the one that goes into the unfair vintage decks.
You know,
Hercule's Recall, but modern.
go with me on this journey.
Mm-hmm.
For old bordered promos, what if we picked an artifact from the artifact set? I mean,
Yeah.
it's more than an artifact set, but
I don't know.
Could you imagine a smuggler's copter in old border? How nice that
Or
would
like
look.
a walking ballista.
Hangerback Walker?
Graham, please, there's a video segment to this podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry. Path of Ancestry. Okay. Commander, that's a commander exclusive, right? Like, doesn't that only get printed in commander sets?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. That's 2017. Beast Whisperer 2018.
look at
with new Pete Ventnor's art.
Hmm.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Dovin's Veto
Drew Tucker.
from 2019.
I mean, love Drew Tucker art.
Yeah. 2020, we got, speaking of vetoes, what? Dovin's Veto into Veto Thorn of the Dusk Rose. That's kind of funny. Love Veto. Deadly Dispute 2021. I
Honestly,
mean,
just a good card.
Yeah.
it's just a good card.
Yeah.
And then did they do one for 2022 or they haven't revealed it yet? Okay, interesting. So yeah, this is sweet. And the nice part about these is that you get these by playing Magic.
Playing at your local game store.
Love that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. These are very cool. I'm going to look forward to trying to get a couple of these.
These promos might be my favorite thing that they have done.
Mhm.
Like the Magic has done in years, decades. They're incredible.
Yeah. I'm just Harvester of Souls?
Yeah, but
Harvester
even
of Souls?
Dramatic
Really?
reversal?
Yeah.
Dramatic Reversal is the only one where it's like, oh. Because even in Commander, you're playing it in like, hey, I'm going to put Dramatic Reversal on Isochron Scepter and nobody's going to get to play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Is that
oh,
okay?
right. It's in the balance deck, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like Harvester of Souls is at least a big dumb idiot
I guess. Yeah.
that draws
yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
Like it's a cool Commander card, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
But like I don't know. It makes me feel like a little kid. Like when I got that Ball Lightning, and I haven't played a Ball Lightning in like half a decade, but I was like, yes, I have a Ball Lightning now. Perfect. Like it, yeah. Oh my God.
So yeah, those are cool. They also announced for the first quarter. This is coming up, in the broad sense, fairly soon. A new remastered set that is pretty exciting, which is Dominaria Remastered,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a draftable set. I'm just gonna quickly refresh myself on the specific details of it, but it is it's going to have draft boosters and collector boosters, and it's going to be, I'm trying to remember what the cards are. It's because it's from basically any set that took place on Dominaria.
Yeah.
Like it's not just remastering the set that was named Dominaria, because that was its own set. So if you took cards out of that, you'd be missing a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cards from that. Are there going to be cards from Dominaria United in it as well? We assume?
Could be cards from Bro for all I know.
Yeah.
But like I'm just holding out for
Bro.
him to Turak, Order of Lightbearer, Order of the Ebon Hand,
Mm-hmm.
Ication Javelineers.
I hope
Oh,
so, yeah.
baby. Thallid. Give me Thallid.
Fallen Empires really hits home, huh?
I loved Fallen Empires, actually. Like, well, no, that isn't true. I hated playing Fallen Empires, but it had like some good cards in it that I still think, are marginal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, nobody's excited to sleeve up Order of Lightbearer, but it's 2/1 first strike that's pumpable.
Can I give you some sick Fallen Empires trivia?
Yes.
Please.
Always.
So in Fallen Empires, cards often have multiple pieces of artwork.
Right.
Yes.
So Order of Lightbeer, for instance, has 3 different pieces of artwork, but all of them depict relatively the same thing. Knights. I
Yeah.
think it's a human knight cleric.
Yeah, it's a
or
human
whatever.
knight or human clerics.
Yeah. However, they're knights. They got updated.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I played Knight Tribal recently and got to visit a lot of cards from that era. But Order of the Ebon Hand,
Mm-hmm.
because there's that one art
Centaur.
of a centaur, all of them are centaurs.
Really?
Yeah. So even the artwork that just depicts the like, I'm a 1980s like sci-fi cover of a woman with a sword
Yep.
that is very clearly not a centaur. That
Yep.
is also a centaur.
There's also the badass guy standing in front of the fire with the
Yeah, there you
So this
the
Order
saw
of the
blade
Ebon
shield.
Hand
Centaur. You just can't
Centaur.
tell.
in terms of the Oracle text is a centaur.
Correct.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You just can't see the rest of her. It's behind the stump.
That's not what Scryfall says.
Oh, maybe I'm having a fever dream. Maybe
I-
this
like-
changed.
Last time I looked, they were just clerics.
This is a cleric knight.
Cleric.
Can
knight.
I see the centaur one?
Oh, they're hospitalers.
I swear to God, I'm not.
This
I mean,
one?
Yeah.
This is a cleric knight,
Okay.
according to Scryfall.
I believe they were centaurs at one time and this was updated. I could be lying. You'll
And then
never
the previous
know.
one. The previous. Can we see the last art, James, please?
In the fight, Jane.
The Ron Spencer image
Yeah.
comics.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
James, can we just get all the Fallen Empires on the screen, please?
All of them at once. So the description for Dominaria Remastered says, created with cards from releases set on Magic's home plane. So there's, that covers like Alpha, Beta, like all the early ones, Fallen Empires, Ice Age
Yeah,
isn't
Ice Age.
Yep.
Alliances, those are all on,
Antiquities.
Yeah.
The first decade of this game.
basically was all on
Mercadian Masks.
Dominia Prime.
Yeah, give me Brainstorm. Get Brainstorm in there.
Yeah.
But like
They showed off some stuff.
Goblin Grenade. Goblin Grenade would be sweet as
I
hell.
love Goblin Grenade.
Everyone loves Goblin Grenade.
They did show off a couple cards with some funky art. So, of course, you got Birds of Paradise, right? Because, of course, it's Birds of Paradise.
Yeah.
But then they also showed off.
Fancy.
Do you have actually, James? I shouldn't say without. Oh, good, you do have the. So here's a borderless Birds of Paradise with new art.
I still really want the Bird of Paradise that either has like the flared neck frill that looks
yeah.
like a happy face.
Yeah,
Or the one that hikes up its skirt and does a little dance.
the little dance. I love that
yeah,
one.
with the
Oh,
bobbins on its head.
I thought those were already existed. I'm like,
No.
when did those come
No,
out? Was it
no,
did I
but
miss a
there's-
secret layer?
We're
or
There
referring
was
to
like
the actual
Planet-
bird.
the
Yeah.
actual-
Yeah, I think it was in Planet Earth,
It
the
was.
documentary. There was a segment on, tropical birds
Yeah.
and how ludicrous they are.
It's like, in the jungle, there's so much food that worrying about food is not a problem. So the birds have just evolved to have ridiculous mating displays.
Yep. And it's just like, you can see, you can tell that the narrator is like, won't someone just come along and kill these things, please? They're I don't like looking at them. They're weird. This is what happens when you don't eat things quickly enough.
They also showed off new art for Jester's Cap, which I remember back in the day was like, oh, Jester's Cap, it's one of the most busted cards. It was, it was a meme card of the before we used the
Yeah.
word meme. And I'm reading it now, and it's a 4-mana artifact, and then for 2 and tap and sack it, you search target player's library for 3 cards and exile them, and then that player shuffles. And it's like, oh, that's fine.
Yeah, it's an extirpate, right?
It was a bit scarier back when like the best decks that you could play only had 3 cards that could kill you.
Right.
Right.
And they were all millstone or whatever.
I mean, I think I remember like busting one of these once and just being like, I guess I take these 3 lightning bolts.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But yeah, some very cool new art for Jester's Cap in both new art and borderless, and of course also in the retro frame as well. There you can see there's the new art in the retro frame. Looks very cool. Time Stretch is another one that they showed off with new art from Dominic Mayer, which is awesome, and a borderless variant from Daemot Power. Very cool.
Like
You're just doing this like it. Yeah, she's like, this is the best grilled cheese I've ever had.
Yeah. And they also showed off Tachova Benthic Druid, Sneak Attack, and Swords to Plowshares.
Border.
This is very cool.
Swords is really nice.
Actually, brief aside, can we go back to Tatyova for a second? Interesting thing on Tatyova here, you'll notice that she now has the ability word landfall, because that's another recent change that they made. They did a big errata update, and that landfall and surveil are now both deciduous mechanics, so not evergreen necessarily, but there's lots of cards that have existed in Magic that functionally do exactly landfall and surveil, but didn't say it because it wasn't in the right set to do that or whatever. And they've gone back and added that. So now the Oracle text actually does have landfall and surveil and a couple different things, unlike like a dozen or so cards for each of those, I think.
I love that they did that with Scry for Opt.
Yes.
So Opt, Scry 1, draw 1.
Yeah.
And then they printed Consider, which is very similar to Opt. And at the time, people were like, oh, isn't this just Surveil 1, draw 1? But it didn't say Surveil. And so the functional reprint of Opt, or the similar Opt, now also went through the same trajectory that original Opt went through.
Now Consider just reads Surveil 1, draw a card.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. That's another thing that happened recently that wanted to mention about.
Streamlined. I like it.
Yeah. I feel like Dominaria Remastered will probably, I'm expecting it to be an entertaining draft. So I look forward to drafting it.
Can we see the Force of Wills from there?
Oh, I don't have
There are
those.
2 very important Force of Will arts.
I didn't see
First
those.
off, we have
there
the
we go.
Donato Giancola.
Ooh, hello. Yes.
And then RKF Baby.
Yes, I
Hell
forgot
yeah.
about that. I had seen the Richard K.
Baby.
Ferguson one. That's very cool.
Oh.
I love the flavor text on this one. Weren't you ever taught that it's rude to interrupt?
But that's what you, but you didn't.
Because it used to be an interrupt.
Yeah.
That's very cute. Mm-hmm. I like that a lot. That's good. So Dominaria Remastered is as far as we're aware at this time, a paper-only product, though it could be on Magic Online. More and more update on Magic Online coming later too. But for Arena, there's another remastered set coming in the first half of 2023, which is relevant for Explorer on Arena, and it's Shadows over Innistrad Remastered. So this will be in the same vein as sort of Kaladesh or Amonkhet Remastered. This will be cards from Shadows over Innistrad and Eldritch Moon. There wasn't a third
That's
set.
it.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
that's it. Yeah.
Cards from those 2 sets remastered into a draftable environment.
Potentially more.
Collective brutality.
Oh my God, Grim Flayer.
Well, just anything with Emerge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excited for that.
Stendo Mabendo.
Also, because they revealed that Meld is coming back in the Brothers War, so I guess they were like, well, if we got to program Meld for Arena anyway,
Yep.
I guess now we don't have any excuse to not bring back Meld for Shadows over Innistrad.
More Madness cards. It's very exciting for
yeah.
me, personally.
Emrakul.
All right.
Yeah.
What are you hoping for like a Gladiator perspective? What are you hoping?
Too many cards to list off.
There's a lot of good
Way
stuff
too
in that
many.
block, eh?
And they've already printed onto Arena through Jumpstart products or Horizon products a bunch of the bangers, like Thalia's Lieutenant Tireless Tracker. We already have those cards. And I'm so excited for this set.
What's the Flayer? The guy with the glove collection.
Oh, the Grim Flayer?
Grim Flayer.
Updated to say Surveil as well.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, this is it's either my first or my second most drafted format of all time. And
Really?
yeah.
Wow. I loved it.
I went ham on Magic Online with this set. It was not healthy, but it paid rent.
Speaking of Magic Online, we'll circle back to the other Magic 30 stuff, but big change for Magic Online is that they've been spun off. This is a weird decision, I think, but whatever. It's no longer being handled wholly in-house at Wizards of the Coast. It's now being published by Daybreak Games, who handle a bunch of other stuff. I think this is I mean, good, but I find it curious that the creative director of Magic Online at Daybreak Games, again, not a Wizards employee, is Ryan Spain.
Oh.
Yeah. They hired him. They contacted him because Ryan was the Marshall's first co-host with Limited Resources, and then left Limited Resources to work at Wizards for many years and did stuff with Magic Online and then Arena, and then left after not having a great time at the end of his tenure at Wizards, and then moved into streaming. And then Daybreak was like, "Hey, do you want? We're taking over MitGo. Do you want to come work with us and sort of help be in charge of MitGo again?" And so now he's doing that. So like, I consider the app in good hands. It's just I think it's an odd choice to move it out of house in that way. But that big server transfer has just happened in the past week and was not without issue, but went more smoothly than I think people might have thought.
I did see a couple of people like Magic Online diehards, so we're like, I haven't gotten to play it yet, but I booted it up and it was operational in like 2 seconds. And if you've booted up Magic Online recently, well, before this, it's like 30 seconds. I boot it up and I go get a drink, maybe use the washroom, then come back and don't click anything until the loading Magic Online button is gone. Yeah.
They're working on adding 2-factor authentication, which is good.
About time.
Yeah. Your collection is intact, by the way. That's obviously, some people were like, but what about, no, it's fine. There's a whole transfer process, but
Caleb Durward made a really good tweet of just like, new Magic Online's up, but I really wish that gave people more notice about, making sure to sign up to get all their stuff moved over. I worry that people will have all their cards abandoned. And it got me.
that's so cruel.
Yeah. Wow. Delicious.
So rude.
Delicious.
Caleb, how dare you? So yeah, the process I believe is you have to totally uninstall your current Magic Online client, go to Daybreak, download the new client and install it and then boot it up, and it should just kind of go. So yeah, I don't know. Obviously Wizards internally wants to focus on Arena, and they figure that this will be better for the life of Magic Online, which is still making money. It's still making money. So I don't know if you have any broad thoughts on.
I haven't fired up MitGo in
No, neither have I.
a long time.
If all this change does is tick down the amount of times that my client has just crashed and like hit my clock, then I'll be okay. Then I'm good with it.
All right, cool. So back at the Magic 30 thing, there's a secret lair that they're calling the 30th Anniversary Countdown Kit. And this sounds pretty cool. This is sort of like this is the kind of high price fancy thing I'm into. It says it's a set of 30 boosters, which is interesting, with stylized wrappers that mark their year, one for each year in Magic. Inside, you'll find a card printed from that year with a twist, which comes in, which it says in a style true to the secret lair ethos. So this is sort of like a greatest hits of interesting styles of past secret lairs. I don't know what the other boosters are. Like, I don't know what else is in the boosters. I don't think it's a single card, right? Like, they haven't actually specified. It says is a set of 30 boosters with stylized wrappers. Inside, you'll find a card printed from that year.
Oh. Well, then it
might just be that card.
Is it just 30 cards, but each are in their own?
Because it's supposed to
booster
be like an
wrap?
advent calendar,
I was just
right?
going to say,
Yeah.
They sold it as an advent calendar.
Oh, okay.
Because the idea is that they're going to get them to us, at least in North America, before December 1st.
Right, because it's a limited print run. They're printing them in advance so they can ship them right away.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So they haven't revealed all 30, but they have revealed some of them. So we can look at some of them if you have those handy. We've got Shark Typhoon in the style of the sort of the monster movie kind of thing. Very cool. Actually, oh yeah, right. It's a VHS. Yeah, this is like an old tape.
Yep.
Necropotence in the very metal poster kind of looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Chrome Mox, just get Dan Fraser to do a Chrome Mox.
Wow.
In the retro frame, very cool. Birthing Pod, in whatever style this is.
What?
Wooden
My
Cyclops,
son.
the artist. Yeah, do not speak to my son. Elspeth Sun's Champion in the retro Planeswalker style.
Yeah, Rebecca Gay. Yes, just
Wheeler is giving it a standing ovation.
Oh,
This knocked my socks off.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love put 4 loyalty, use counters on Elspeth. Opponents can attack Elspeth as though she were you. Any damage she suffers, depletes that much loyalty. If Elspeth has no loyalty, she abandons you.
You know, standing Rebecca Gay as the GOAT,
mhm.
some might say it's cliche,
Mm.
but at the same time, she just pops back into Magic. You know, it's just
Yeah.
like just a reminder, like
Yeah, that
I'm up
she-
here.
Yeah,
Hey,
Yeah,
sometimes cliches work for a reason.
Yeah.
you know?
and
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like the goat it probably draws the most water in the room,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I feel that would be the kind of thing that people generally agree on.
Yeah. That like
So
Christ.
I have no problem going with the consensus here that Rebecca Gay just is. I mean, RKF, love him.
Yeah.
Quentin Hoover,
Oh, yeah.
rest in peace.
Mm.
F. Scott.
Fitzgerald.
Yeah,
Scott F. Fisher? Or
Yeah.
or Scott. Yeah, Scott Fisher.
Yeah.
Scott M. Fisher.
Scott M. Fisher.
Love him, but
Yeah.
like Rebecca Gay. Is
Yeah.
just,
They also spoiled Nicol Bolas God Pharaoh in the Lil Walkers style.
Mhm.
And
Oh, he's Chibi.
Chibi.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Bloodbraid Elf. Looking very cool as well. So they said that's all that they're going to reveal. They said if you want to know what's in it, you can look at the kit when it's available for order. Actually, you'll be available to see what the other 23 cards starting October 24th. Or you can just order it and be surprised, which I guess is more sort of in keeping with the...
The Advent Calendarius.
Yeah. I guess avoiding... These are going to be all over the Reddit, so it's like avoiding
Yeah.
spoilers is going to be a challenge if you really want to do that. And that's $150. And because it is a limited run, it's available starting on November 1st at 9 a.m. until it's sold out, which will probably be quickly.
$150 is not nothing,
No.
but still, if it's the 30th anniversary, like, all right, this is a big thing. Magic's a huge part of my life or whatever. I'll spend it because this is a heck of a way to celebrate 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you do it.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the kind of like expensive, 30-year anniversary, like, kind of like big ticket collectible item that I think is like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I like that.
Yeah, I'll be up early. Buy this for 150.
Yeah.
Relist on eBay for 1500.
And
Buy
so
it off myself. Relist it again for 15,000.
So that brings us very neatly to the other big thing that they announced, which is sort of the only thing that people were talking about after the stream, which was the Magic 30 Collector's Edition, which, in case you've missed it, I will just quickly remind you that it is it's a gold back border. It doesn't have the standard Magic back, so they're not tournament legal. It is a packet of 4 booster packs, so it's still random, of reprints of cards from beta. Well, it says inspired by limited edition beta because it's not exactly 1-to-1 with beta. There's like 6 cards that they're not reprinting for various valid reasons. And some of the cards, there's like there's booster collation breakdowns of like there's like a basic land, and then there's a card in the retro frame, and there's also a retro frame basic, I think, and then there's it's sort of irrelevant. The point is, this is non-tournament legal. It's still random. It's still 4 boosters, and it's $1,000
For a pack of 4.
for 4 boosters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you could get again, not legal Black Lotus or Dual Land or Mox or something. Or you could not. You could essentially sort of scrub out in that way and just get, 4 other rares from beta. And it's $1,000. And a lot of discussion around this has happened.
Seeing this announcement made me want to go back to bed. Not just like I saw this and I'm like, oh no.
Just because that it's going to be like I'm too tired to deal with the discussions.
Yeah, the discourse around this, like, I'm just not going to buy it.
Oh no, I mean, Christ.
Yeah.
But like the discourse around it is just going to be
so there's
not good.
One of the main things I've seen is it'll sell out, and yeah, it will. That's fine. It's if you want to buy it, go for it. It will sell out. That's not a reason. That's not like a defense. That's not a good defense. I'm just saying, yes, it will sell out, but yes, people will buy it. I don't think that that's a reason that it should exist. I don't like this. Mm-hmm. I think this is a big mistake. It feels bad, and I think it was a bad idea. And we get criticized a lot on this show because we work with wizards all the time because it happens that we work with wizards and also our opinions tend to be like fairly just chill because we just can't really be arsed to get like really worked up into a frenzy about a lot of wizard stuff.
Yeah.
And like generally it's like, I just don't actually think it's that big of a deal. Like in many situations.
We really need to start to develop an unhealthy relationship with our hobbies.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Maybe the problem is that our thumbnails aren't just like one of us in the corner of the YouTube video being like,
look at all these red arrows.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about maybe trying a different thumbnail with this episode, but not for that reason. But having said that, I think this was a mistake. I think this was a massive, massive mistake.
So just because I would like you to clarify.
Please.
The product or the price?
I guess the price, right? Like I get like it's a fun like the thing is, so they're not game pieces. It's a collector item, right? So even though certainly in Canadian Highlander there is established precedent for using gold border cards from like the World Championship decks.
Technically not a format rule. It's entirely up to the discretion of your TO.
Yeah. Similarly in Commander, right? There's the Rule 0 discussion. You could discuss amongst your group whether or not you're okay with using cards from Collector's Edition, the old one, the square one, right? Or this 30th Anniversary Edition. So like they're not technically game pieces, but they could be.
But in the same way that a printed out piece of paper is, right?
But I think that I think they could have done some kind of collector item. I don't know what. For argument, I'm going to say like a statue. And being like, this is a super expensive, it's like a $500 like resin cast of something. I don't know what. Like this is just for the sake of argument, right? And be like, this is a collector item. This is super not something that everybody, like wants or needs, but this is a fun thing that we're doing for people that want to spend $500 on a collector item. And it's like, okay, sure. But these are cards. These are cards. This is the perfect kind of celebration of 30 years of Magic. That they are like the game pieces that you get to open and hold and possibly not get anything that spicy, right? Because again, it are booster packs. It is random. For it to be this product at this price, I think is a combination that just feels awful.
Yeah, I'm like trying to think of basically the purchasing power I had when I was 12 and the purchasing power I have now, and wondering what was a bigger hit to my finances. Scrubbing out on 4 boosters when I was 12 or scrubbing out on this now that I'm significantly older, right?
And we have talked before on this podcast about like, look, not everything is for everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the
Rarely has everyone been so few people.
yeah, I think the problem is that it's like, from the Wizards is presenting it as like, they're not game pieces. This is a collectible item for the wealthiest collectors that want to put a bunch of money into buying this collector item. Except that what it is something that everybody would want. That is, it is, I think, I mean, I'm repeating myself. This is the perfect thing to do for a 30th anniversary thing, to be like, we're re-releasing a bunch of the old cards and there's new borders and there's things like that, and you can get them in booster boxes, but we're pricing it.
Yeah.
I mean, that already exists though. Like with the, like for the, like the 1%, the top like wealthy collectors of the game or whatever, like having a product for them to collect and put in a binder and probably not play with exists. And it's either beta or alpha,
just the original
unlimited,
cards.
or collector's edition. Like the collector's edition, which you can still pick up these cards from other dealers. You can find complete sets, and they are extremely expensive, but still, like, once you get to a certain dollar amount, it starts to kind of blur. If I may, these suck ass.
Yeah.
I hate these so much.
Okay, good. I was hoping not good that you agree with me. Good. I was hoping to get some more opinion out of both of you. Yeah.
So I do think that there is some room for these. I'm in a weird spot where, like, I love the idea of someone just having a printer and being able to cut out whatever they want and proxy whatever they want, you know, obviously for like your kitchen table play or for your non-sanctioned events or whatever, because who cares, right? They emulate game pieces, but they're not technically tournament legal game pieces, but they emulate them. But at the same time, like, why is this so uncool?
Yeah.
Right? Like, it seems if this were just a reissue of Collector's Edition, like the OG Collector's Edition, they still cut out the problematic cards. They have all the old border, or they have an option. You can buy the all new border, all old border, make the price tag something massive. It would still sell out, and it would be infinitely cooler. It's this weird concept of like the hard G word that I don't want to use, of the randomization, the lottery tickets, basically.
This is not, I don't think that this would be necessarily good, but I do think it would be slightly better if it was like, it's all the cards.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, here is a reprint of beta, and maybe there's some randomization in like, and some of them will be in a retro frame or something if you want to do that.
You can make it like a secret layer where every box has like a fancy version of these cards or whatever, like of a rare from the set.
That would be, I still think would not be great, but it would be a little bit better. But the fact that it's literally 4 boosters. There's not like, it's just boosters.
Yeah,
$1,000.
I agree. That pitch of the full set, I don't think is necessarily a great thing or a good thing, and still for a very small demographic. But it's at least it feels more targeted to me. It feels more like it's there with a very direct purpose of like, hey, you work for a tech company, right? Yeah, just buy this. It's like, okay, sure, I'll do that.
What if it was like, you know, like a wooden box with like the Power 9 in like they're like metal, like the coins that they did, right? It's where it's like die cut Power 9, like clang clang, you know, in like metal things or whatever, in like a, you know, like a fancy wooden box or whatever, and it's like this is much better than just the random statue I was talking about, right? It's like it's $1,000, you get the Power 9 in sterling silver, you know,
Right?
right? And it's like, you know, like if they'd announced that, then I would have been like, wow, I'm not buying that, but you know what? All right, fair play to you. But it's that it's this.
Yeah.
It's that it's this at that price. It is the combination of the two things. It's like something that actually most people would want.
It's very weird that this 30th anniversary, like, which is supposed to be a huge thing, feels infinitely less special than any of the other releases that we have seen in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it falls flat as it feels like they gave like ABU the regular set treatment of like, hey, look, there's new border and old border, and then made it a lotto ticket and just kind of pissed on a lot of history. I don't know. I'm not going to buy any of these, and I think they honk. That's it.
Yeah. And I think that I think it just looks bad for Wizards. I think that the existence of this negatively impacted all of the
everyone
fun.
hated this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the nicest thing I heard anyone say about this was basically like, if you don't want it, don't buy it. And the problem is, like,
sure, but
people do want, right? Like these are very, very close to playing pieces. Like the idea of like having like, oh, this is a metal printing of the cards. I mean, you still wouldn't be able to play with that, but it would be recognized as not being able to. I'm going to get peer pressured into playing against these, right? Like, come on, let me play my Black Lotus Commander deck, right? Like, isn't it banned?
Why does the Storm player always have the Lotus in their hand?
Yeah.
It's just one sleeve is like distended and
Yeah.
And I don't really know what else to say about it. I mean, it's like we said, it's that's a really good point, right? That like, if you don't want it, don't buy it, but people do want it, but they're not going to buy it.
Everything else in this announcement was so cool. And good.
Yeah.
And like, I think
that's why I wanted to talk about all of it.
For all the crap that Wizards gets when they if they hit it out of the park like this, like I know people like the promos for all the different years, that gets people out of their house and going back to events, and
also like this card back is just ugly.
Yeah.
Like it's
but they did say that they Wizards Play Network stores would get one for free. One. Oh, unless you're a very good Wizards Play Network store, then you get 3.
You get 3?
Yeah.
You don't even get 4?
No.
Wow.
Oh, sorry.
No, not one booster. You get 1 pack of 4 of like.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Still very funny.
Not one booster. You get $1,000 thing that you can, I guess, open and sell.
I don't know if this is like either due to extreme like unhealthy relationship with this game or a healthy relationship with this game, but I saw this and was just like, oh, that's something I'm probably going to interact with negatively.
Time to set up some more mute filters on Twitter.
Yep. Yeah, just gonna mute the hell out of this thing. And well,
let's talk about some collectible game pieces for Magic the Gathering that I am excited about.
Yeah.
Because there's a new Secret Lair Super Drop. And honestly, it's the thing is, hey, I admit I'm not above spending extra dollars for fancy ass Magic the Gathering cards, because some of these are speaking to me so well.
Actually, sorry, one last thing about the collector's edition.
Oh, please.
I woke up to that announcement like you would wake up to a phone call at 4 a.m. from your mother. Right, where you look at your phone in the morning and you're like, Mom called twice at 4 a.m.
I mean, it's 8 a.m. now. If it was something bad, probably can't do anything anyway.
Yeah, it's like, there's a message on my phone.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do about this.
Yeah. Like,
do I follow up right now?
Well, this is not going to be. This is either nothing or going to be, ruin my week.
Do I phone back immediately, or do I make myself a coffee first?
Yeah.
Why did my doctor call me?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm sorry.
No. Sorry, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, big October super drop for Secret Lair. there's a couple. There's 2 secret lairs involving Post Malone. Good for him. I'm not. It's
I'm pre-Malone.
not my jam. Nice for Posty. Understand he's a cool guy. But yeah, it's the Secret Lair X Post Malone Backstage Pass. It involves 4 cards with new art with Post on it. So this is Crick, son of Yawgmoth, but it's Post, son of Rich.
It's just a guy.
Yeah, Post's Citadel instead of Bolus's Citadel. Leshrac Sigil, but it's Post's Sigil, and Jet Medallion.
Oh my god! I think that's I think that might be the first reprinting of Leshrac's Sigil, or maybe there's only one. That's a very. I mean, it makes sense
I know
given
it's
it.
exciting when a famous person likes your thing, but Wizards, you got to act like you've been in the end zone before, man. This is a little.
Picked a bad moment to try to drink.
This is just a little.
You were correct, Wheeler. This is not seen print since Ice Age.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't have anything against Post Malone
No,
as a
gosh,
person
no.
or his music. In fact, I've heard nothing but good things about individual interactions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Cameron's side with this, though. Again, it's very funny that we have secret layers. I mean, this is cute. These lands are kind of cute.
Right. The other one is the Post Malone Secret Lair of the Lands, which is a series of basic lands that he's autographed and like drawn little funny scribbles on.
I heart Liliana. Mr. Vest Post.
Mr. Vest
Yeah,
Post.
that's great.
Yeah. I don't know. This follows a fine tradition of Wizards of the Coast, and I feel like the D&D branch is the worst offender of this, but of sort of like maybe not supporting community creators as much as they could, and then tripping over themselves as soon as somebody with a following shows an interest in the game to do anything that they can possibly do to sort of latch onto that.
To be fair, Post Malone does, like, from what I've seen, he goes hard on Magic.
Again,
Yeah.
nothing. Honestly, truthfully,
Yeah.
nothing bad to say about Mr. Malone. I understand he's great, loves the game. Like,
If anything,
Yeah.
though, I think that adds to the whole, like, I just can't stop thinking that it's just a guy.
Yeah.
He's just a guy, all right? Like, he's just another Magic degen, which is cool to, have that in the sphere. But then it's also like, wait a minute, this is just a guy. Just put a guy on here. Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
like Magic has a long tradition of putting just a guy on cards.
that's true.
right. Like,
Yeah. But the
Anyway.
son of Yawgmoth.
These are not
yeah.
these are not for me, but I'm super fine with them existing. Good for you. Good for you, Posty. Congrats. This seems like a lot of fun. The Warhammer 40,000 secret lairs. We have the orcs. So these are all 3 of these lairs are in the Universes Beyond style, where they are reprints with new names, or not always new names either. But there's a Merciless Executioner reprint as Orc Commando. There's just Aggravated Assault, because there's a Krenko reprint as Makara the Lucky Grot. Do you know?
Makari. Makari is
Pardon me.
Gaskell Thraka's standard bearer.
Oh, cool. And who's Gogskul, Prophet of the Wa?
Gaskell Thraka is the most successful orc war boss ever. He is probably most famous for leading not 1 but 2 assaults on the hive world of Armageddon.
Dang.
He's just a very big dude. He's a huge dude. He's a huge man.
Zergo makes sense mechanically then. Yeah.
I love this.
Oh yeah, right. Sky Sovereign as Devolcha.
Vulture.
What's Devolcha?
Oh,
I mean, it's a ship.
yeah. It's actually, I'm not terribly familiar with it. Like, I remember that these fighter bombers were like way back when I was playing more 40K before I took my break. Planes, aircraft. Were mainly a side gig that was done by Forge World, which is kind of like I don't know, a bit like the secret lair of Warhammer 40K.
Oh, okay.
Which were high priced premium products with weird rules.
Ah.
Right? Like you could go and buy something that interacted with the game state in a weird way, and it was like this resin kit. And they made planes, and they had kind of janky rules for them, and generally Forge World overcosted their stuff. Like they came up with what they thought was a fair point cost for it, and then they added like 30 or 40 points to it just to be safe, so nobody could say that they were buying wins, which never happened in Games Workshop games. I don't remember what Devolcha is.
Vulture.
Yeah,
Devolcha.
cool.
But I mean, it's a bomba.
I gotta say, the Warhammer stuff, as somebody that just purchased every single new card from those sets from cardkingdom.com,
Heyo.
I've was going through all the different themes and cards and be like, oh, that the stylized stuff. Kind of wish we got a full deck of these orcs.
Yeah, the orcs not getting a commander deck was a big question mark.
Yeah.
I mean, they're green, but they would have been, I don't know, I think a really interesting mono red deck.
Yeah.
Honestly.
They seem kind of cool.
Well, the 40K decks have been very successful and received very well.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll do another round of them, and then we can get like.
Yeah, orcs and Eldar, I think, are the two ones that are like clearly not here. And then I don't know. I was talking with a friend about like what I would want to see from 40K commander decks, and orcs and Eldar are the two clear ones, and then I think you could get expansions out of the Imperials in some way, and out of Chaos in other ways. But like, yeah, there's lots of unexplored space in Warhammer 40,000.
The Age of Sigmar, which is what they now call Warhammer Fantasy, as I knew it, is a similar sort of thing, again, with the reprints. We've got Blind Obedience. We've got Neve Black Talon, or Danitha Capuchin. Archaon the Ever-Chosen, who's a Chaos Knight?
Archaon is the Herald of the End Times.
So yeah.
A 3/2 for 3? What?
It's Najila.
Yeah, Najila the Blade Blossom. I don't even remember what that card was originally.
Wasn't she from
She was from
Zendikar?
Battle Bond.
Battle Bond, right.
Oh, okay.
This is a very different image from, I believe, pink hair with a little pretty flower. And I mean, they both bring death.
Yeah.
Najila ends games and is terrifying.
Oh, okay.
A red hair with the pink flower. Yeah.
Yeah. Archaon the Ever-Chosen, I remember way back in the day when that character was first introduced, they had him in a battle report in White Dwarf, which was their monthly magazine.
Right.
And it was Chaos versus Empire, and Empire were just like baseline humans. And the Empire player charged a unit of knights, like heavy cavalry, into just Archaon. Like they peeled away his supporting unit, got him all on his own, and charged knights into him, which would usually be like good game. Archaon killed them all before they got to swing. And it was just like, oh.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Who else? Or what else? Star Drake, or Scourge of the Throne. Galmaraz the Great Shatterer.
The titular Warhammer.
Hey.
Wait, really?
Oh, that's the Warhammer.
That's the Warhammer.
They said the name.
Yeah, it's Galmaraz. It's the dwarven forged Warhammer of Sigmar.
Cool.
You know how Conan has that sword?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what if that was a hammer?
Ah,
Then it would be different, and then you could call it something else and put a copyright on it.
perfect. And that's it for the Age of Sigmar one? Yeah. And then there's also Blood Bowl, which was a side game
Yeah.
of it's because again, Games Workshop is a British company, and this is
It's
it's their understanding of American football
Yep.
Oh,
as a joke.
Blood Ball.
Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
BOWL.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's like it's hyper violent football basically.
Yeah.
So football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So touchdown, approach of the second sun, re-roll or rewind, both down as for bone splinters, and fling for throw teammate, which
Yep.
is that's just fling. And perfect defense or defense of the heart. Just some weird choices for. Oh right, the ball.
Yeah.
It's a Felwar stone.
Okay.
The ball.
Sorry.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So Is this a video game?
No,
No,
This
it's a board
was
game.
a tabletop
Yeah,
with miniatures.
Games Workshop will, every couple of years put out a sub game of, Warhammer 40K or the fantasy, whatever the fantasy game is right now. Sometimes it's things like Warhammer Quest, which is a bit like Hero Quest, right? Sometimes it's Battlefleet Gothic, which was a space combat game where you're maneuvering fleets of things around. And in Warhammer Fantasy, for a long time, it was Blood Bowl.
Okay.
So yeah,
Which
it
was just it was
a
loopy
tabletop
and weird, and it was honestly
turn-based strategy with miniatures.
And it
Yep.
was the setting was Warhammer,
but
American
everyone's playing
football.
Yeah.
everyone's playing American football. It was honestly a pretty good game.
Have we played that on AFK?
No,
No, yeah.
there'd be a lot of setup, unfortunately.
Oh,
It'd be
I
fun.
mean, you
though.
would need to get team. I don't remember the last time it was in print.
okay.
All three of these, by the way, all three of the Warhammer sets, have a because sometimes secret layers will have the secret card, right? All three of the Warhammer sets, it is wastes. All three of them, it's just wastes, but with different art for each, depending on if it's Orcs or Age of Sigmar or Blood Bowl.
Nice.
So yeah, people were sort of like medium on it, but they're full art wastes with really cool art. So it was sort of like, oh, okay, that's actually kind of cool. So also in this super drop, there's so many. If Looks Could Kill is the name of this secret lair, which is art from Jack Hughes. Yes. So it's Azami, Lady of Scrolls, Liliana of the Dark Realms, Reflector Mage. Ignore the legendary frame. That was a misprint, and that was a mistake, and it's not being printed with the legendary frame. And Adaptive Automaton. It's just some cool art from Jack Hughes. Junji Ito.
Yes.
Holy moly, Junji Ito. So these are available. As with most of as with usual, everything we've been talking about so far is available in foil or non-foil. The Junji Ito ones are available in non-foil or foil etched, but also in either English or Japanese, which is pretty cool. So the Junji Ito edition has Carrion Feeder. If you're not familiar with Junji Ito by name, you've probably seen the This Hole Is Made for Me.
Yep.
The Terror of Amagara
Faults of
Yeah.
Amigara.
Yeah. A manga author known for real creepy stuff.
Yeah, he does an extremely good job of
It's unsettling.
describing what it's like to have a nightmare
Yeah.
or like just a weird dream where you're like, there's an internal logic here that makes no sense outside of this context, but it's unsettling.
Yeah.
I don't like it. And it's awesome.
So we got Carrion Feeder, we got Doomsday, which
Ari.
yeah, in last week's episode when we were talking about flavor text with Ari Zarulnik, in case you missed it, I just want to pass this story on because it was great. Because Ari was doing up the art descriptions for what to send to. He's like, I got to give Junji Ito the art descriptions of what we wanted him to draw. And for Doomsday, rather than like sending the original card or being prescriptive at all, I just asked for an apocalypse of your devising,
Yeah.
which is great. So love that. Also, there was Plague Crafter. Is that what we saw there?
Yeah.
Yep. We got Plague Crafter.
God.
Very upsetting. And Thoughtseize.
I run 3 of these in my Highlander deck and another one in my Commander deck.
Nice.
Yeah, I hadn't bought a secret layer yet, and I always thought the only thing that'll get me to buy a secret layer is if they do like a Dark Souls secret layer.
yeah.
And then there was a Junji Ito secret layer, and I immediately messaged Graham like, "Hey, you getting in on the super drop?"
Yep. And the answer is yes, because as well as Junji Ito, this is huge for me. Yoji Shinkawa is another secret layer they're doing. Once again, non-foil or regular foil, English or Japanese. Yoji Shinkawa, best known as the character and mech designer for the Metal Gear Solid franchise. And so these arts speak to me deeply. So Phyrexian Metamorph, very, very cool there. Tezzeret the Seeker, looking like, Solidus or someone. Skull Clamp. yeah, it's very, very cool. And Solemn Simulacrum, which, Sad Robot just gets into really any deck. So, yeah, I'm definitely picking that one. I can't decide whether I want to get the Yoji Shinkawa one in English or Japanese. I think for me it was like, I think I want to get the Yoji Shinkawa ones in English because I primarily interacted with the Metal Gear games in English, but the Junji Ito ones in Japanese. I think that's where I haven't quite decided yet. I got to get that order in though. And there's 3 more secret layers in the Super Drop. There's the Space Beyond the Stars.
I honestly kind of like this one too.
Yeah.
Or no, not this one. Sorry, I was thinking of the other one.
This is all art from Jeremy Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Imprisoned in the Moon, Stasis. That's a very cool Stasis.
What a cool card to put more copies of into the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prismatic Omen,
Oh.
and Wheel of Sun and Moon.
Well, this is nice.
And these are just kind of like neat, abstract,
Yeah.
borderless
Cute.
stuff. Yeah. Cameron, are you thinking of the weirdest pets in the multiverse?
Well, that one I also really liked. Yes.
This is all from Omar Ryan. So we've got, Laboratory Maniac.
Oh my
That's
god.
an even weirder dog than before. Wait, hang on. Go back to that last one. They claim that dog is man's best friend, but according to my calculations, it's actually this guy. Look, it is a weird dog. Love it. So Laboratory Maniac, Stitcher's Supplier, Beast Whisperer.
Wow.
Yeah, these are delightful.
Yeah, this art is great.
Vizier of the Menagerie.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And the best flavor text.
And Wood Elves, but should elves. That's probably Ari's fault. And then
Somebody's been sitting on that one for decades.
Oh yeah. And then the final secret layer available only in foil because the whole point is that it's in Galaxy Foil. The Galaxy Foil, which is the Infinity Foil treatment with like space images and stuff as part of the foiling process, is some lands in foil edition. Specifically, we've got Ash Barrens.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Very
they're
pretty.
pretty fancy looking. Command Beacon, Fabled Passage, and Strip Mine.
Whoa.
Good old Strip Mine.
Wow, that looks good.
Why does
Right?
it tap for mana? Why does Strip Mine tap for mana?
Well, because Library of Alexandria has
also
to tap for mana.
Yeah, fair's fair.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the super drop. Those are available for the rest of for like another several weeks from now, and they're available in various bundles or whatever. And it's who chooses you will. And then on the 24th, which I guess is going to be pretty soon after this airs, is when you'll be able to look at their sort of countdown advent calendar thing if you want, but that won't be available to order until November 1st. So now you're sort of up to speed on all the secret layers. In terms of like the releases never stop, we've started to see a bit of stuff from Brothers War, which behooves us to mention to you. We'll have a formal announcement coming, but yes, the last PPR of the year, pre-release Bro, coming up on Friday, November 4th. It's a Friday, special day. So look forward to that. Usual start time of 10 a.m. Pacific, ? Yes, nods from James. Thank you. So yeah, look for that. More announcements on that to come, but do want to let you know that's happening. We've seen a little bit of stuff from that, but and the fiction is starting to come out as well, and it's been good. They just did the world building video the other day, so we've seen a lot of art from the set. Haven't seen that many cards, though there are going to be 2 commander decks as well, which are Urza and Mishra, because it's the Brothers War. That just sort of makes sense. And still some questions. I think it hasn't been definitively answered, though please correct me if I'm wrong, whether Teferi is observing through time or if he's actually gone through time. I don't think we know if Teferi is there or if he's just watching.
Do
I don't-
fairies like,
I don't know if that matters. I just think it's interesting.
what would you do if you had a time machine? Go back in time and assassinate Urza.
Yeah, I bet he would too.
Yeah.
Urza sucks. Like as a person,
Yeah.
as a character, very interesting because he sucks so bad as a person. So yeah, some interesting stuff there. We also started to see a few spoilers for December's release of Jumpstart 2022,
Yep.
including you're very excited about this. There's a legendary Yeti.
At Command Fest DC, this was in 2019, I think. Oh God, maybe 2020, around that era. Ben and I were there in attendance and badgering Gavin Verhey in a hotel lobby about printing a legendary Yeti over and over and over again. And now, about 2 years or so from that badgering, we see a legendary Yeti. I'm not saying it's a direct A to B, but you're welcome. You're so welcome. This card is sweet.
Yeah.
And the color, it's a mono blue commander,
Mm-hmm.
except there's a triggered ability that has a cost where you can pay green, white, or blue. So its color identity is in Bant. So you can play, this is played as a Bant commander, but also if you just want to play this as mono blue,
Yeah.
go for it.
For those listening at home, I should tell you what it does. It's 3 blue for a 5/5 legendary snow creature Yeti. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play snow lands and cast snow spells from the top of your library. And then whenever another snow permanent enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay green, white, or blue. And if you do, you put a +1/+1 counter on Isu the Abominable.
I love future sight effects.
Yeah.
Winter sight.
And this is a card, Winter Sight. Oh, that's good. This is a card I got to name, actually, because I mentioned on Twitter yesterday that myself and one other person were on the creative text team for Jumpstart 2022. So yeah, I suggested Isu the Abominable because I was always a fan growing up with the Tales of the Abominable Snowman.
Yeah.
And that one went right through. Jumpstart, you get to have a little bit more fun than I think most normal sets. So there's some silly stuff coming up. I also got to put flavor text on Kiki Jiki for the first time ever.
That's pretty exciting.
It's just want to see a neat trick. It's like
I love the wide-eyed cat in one of the mirrors. Like the cat's just like,
I had no responsibility for that. I love it. I love that there's a cat as part of Kiki Jiki's reflections.
Yeah.
That's just a very little lamp shading directly the cat combo. I love it. I think that's terrific. But yeah, there's a cat, there's a goblin, there's some other stuff reflecting there. But
Big finger.
yeah, this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
So yeah, very excited for Jumpstart. I was kind of wondering. I was like, they called it Jumpstart 2022. When's it coming out? December, it turns out.
December 2nd?
I think so. Yeah. So technically 2022. Was there anything else that we needed to catch people up on?
we
Nope.
went through the entire emotional gamut of Magic players from angry to excited.
Perfect.
Good. Okay, yeah, nailed it.
Great.
Great.
In that case, that's going to do it for this week. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Tap Tap Concede. A reminder, we're brought to you by Card Kingdom. Please check out cardkingdom.com/LRR. Buy your singles there because they're great. Thank you. And this show and everything we do is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. It really does make all the difference for us to be able to do all the myriad things that we do, and we hugely appreciate it. Until next time, I've been Graham, joined by Cameron and Wheeler.
Gesundheit.
James has been on tech. Heather Gesley's online. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.